Hi, my name is Bill DiGilio, and I'd like to demonstrate a few sweep picking patterns for you today. Most of you have heard of Frank Gambale's sweep picking. He's been doing this for, I think, over 30 years now. He's had videos, video published, a book published, and he's extremely adept at the technique. Actually amazing to see the guy play. And a lot of people have used that technique as well on their own and adapted it to their style. So many people figure, well, alternate picking works fine for me and I don't have to worry about doing any kind of sweeping. I don't need to have blazing fast speed like Frank or like some of these heavy metal guys. Why should I bother with sweep picking? Well, I have a theory on this that I'd like to discuss. One thing about sweep picking that Frank doesn't mention in any of his courses is that it does make the left hand, or it does make the right hand very efficient. So it makes a lot of patterns that are normally impossible to play or difficult to play easier to play. But the one thing it does do is put a little more of the emphasis and more of the responsibility on the left hand to be very accurate and coordinated with the right. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, because as guitarists we have to develop our left hand as well and our left and right hand coordination. That's a part of the playing the instrument, of course. So I would recommend learning a few sweep picking licks, if for nothing else, to troubleshoot your left hand to see how accurate it really is, and also just to expand your right hand flexibility and vocabulary. Even if, like I said, you don't need to play blazingly fast patterns like a lot of people do using this technique, okay? Even if you never get it up to that tempo, it still can be beneficial. Now, the one problem with some of the early sweep picking patterns I've seen in Frank's materials and others is they make it quite a bit more difficult for the left hand than it needs to be in this way. Number one, it often calls for extreme stretches, which is a problem, especially if you have a small hand like I do. Number two, it requires awkward position shifts, and that's often a problem. It's not insurmountable, but it is a problem. Okay, it takes a lot of time to get the position shift very smooth. And number three, it often requires rolling the finger across the several strings on one fret to play something. For example, if I'm going to sweep strings 4, 3, 2, 1 on the 5th fret, and I don't just want to have the strings ring together, if I want to separate them like you should do, you need to roll the finger. Which is not an easy thing to do because sometimes it touches the wrong string, and getting the timing exactly right is not easy either. So what I've developed is a few sweep picking patterns that make it very easy for the left hand, and that gives you a little time to concentrate on the right hand. As well, if you listen very closely, you can listen to the left and right hand coordination to make sure you're getting the articulation exactly the way you want it. Because one thing that's you start noticing when you start practicing sweep picking patterns, when you remove the difficulty of playing the right hand, of right hand picking patterns, what you start to hear is any difficulties with the left hand. It exposes any inaccuracies or weaknesses, especially in terms of releasing the notes. Because keep in mind, to play something sweep picking, we want to play it legato for the most part. We don't want to play it staccato. And we don't necessarily want all the notes to ring together either, just like we're strumming a chord. So we want legato, but with enough separation to hear the notes cleanly and clearly. So to do that, the left hand has to release the notes at exactly the right time so they don't run over or cut the note short. So what I've done is, like I said, I've come up with some patterns that work very well for distinguishing how the left hand is handling these things. Here's the first pattern. It's in 5th position, and it does not change position, so we stay in 5th position for the entire pattern. And the picking is very simple. It's down, 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 or a complete sweep down from 4 to 1, and a sweep back up from 1 to 4. So very simple for the right hand. Here's the left hand pattern. It's fourth finger on the fourth string, third finger on the third string, second finger on the second string, first finger on the first string, and then coming back, fourth finger on the first string, second finger on the second string, first finger on the third string, third finger on the fourth string. So the whole pattern looks like this. So notice you could visualize this as a major 7 chord. That's a possible way of analyzing this voicing. You probably know that one already. And this is a simple F triad. So it's basically a 1-5 progression if you had to analyze it harmonically. So again, I'll play that. And notice I'm playing the notes legato, but I'm being very careful not to let the notes run into each other, but I want them to connect as much as possible. So one way you can time this is that as the next note attacks, you lift the previous note. Oh, I'll do that again, sorry. So notice I'm being very careful about the articulation. And notice I'm playing this with no overdrive, no distortion, no reverb, no echo. I want a clean, dry guitar sound so I can analyze sonically what's happening with my left and right hand coordination. Here's another pattern. Starts on the fourth string again. It's the same picking pattern as previous. All down for 4 strings and all back up for 4 strings. Again, 5th position. Starts with the first finger on the 4th string, third finger on the 3rd string, 4th finger on the 2nd string, second finger on the 1st string, and then back with the major 7 arpeggio pattern we used in the first pattern. First finger on the 1st string, second finger on the 2nd string, third finger on the 3rd string, 4th finger on the 4th string. So I'll play this a little faster. So again, notice I'm being very careful about when I release the notes as I'm picking the next note, being very distinct about that. Now, another way of, another term for sweep picking is called economy picking. This is where you can combine alternate picking as well as using a sweep. Because as Frank states in many of his videos, you can't sweep on one string. So some form of alternate picking is almost always required in some way. So these next 2 patterns require some alternate picking, but primarily use the sweep patterns. Okay, these are both diminished arpeggios. Okay, the first one, this is in 6th position, and it starts with the, or I'm sorry, 5th position. Pardon me. Starts with the first finger. 4th finger on the same string, on the 4th string, second finger on the 3rd string, first finger on the second string. Then, on the second string, fourth finger, second finger on the third string, fourth finger on the fourth string, and then first finger on the fourth string. I'll do that again, slow motion. First finger, and this is starting on the fourth string. First finger, fourth finger, second finger, first finger, fourth finger, second finger, fourth finger, first finger. And notice here's the picking pattern. It's up, down, 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 up, 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 down. Do that one more time. Up, down, 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 up, 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 down. And again, notice all four patterns do not require any stretches, do not require any shifts of the hand, and do not require rolling of the fingers. Okay? Those patterns are great if you can master those techniques, but you chose four patterns that are extremely simple for the left hand to make it easy to get the coordination going. Then you can advance later to more challenging patterns for the left hand. Or if you already have pretty well developed left hand technique chops, you can go right to those patterns and start reaping the benefits of that already. Okay, here's the fourth pattern. This is also a diminished arpeggio. This one is in sixth position, and it starts on the third finger, or the third string, excuse me. So this one goes first finger on the third string, fourth finger on the same string, third finger on the second string, first finger on the first string, fourth finger on the first string, third finger on the second string, fourth finger on the fourth string, on the third string, and first finger on the third string. What I'll do is I'll include a link in my description of this video to a PDF that has these arpeggios charted out for you, so you can exactly see how these are working. Okay, so some people seem to learn visually better than they do by ear or by watching on a video. If you could see the pattern on the neck a little more clearly, you might absorb it faster. Okay, here again, I'll play that pattern in sixth position. First finger, fourth finger, third finger, first finger, fourth finger, third finger, fourth finger, first finger. A little faster. So those are just some examples of some patterns that will get you started with sweep picking and not having to deal with other issues, for example, like I said, rolling, involved stretches, or awkward position shifts at first. I hope this is helpful, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the video in the comments section below. I greatly appreciate it, as well as if you would like the video and subscribe if you feel you've gotten something out of this. Thanks very much. Again, my name is Bill DiGiulio. Have a great day.